Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a review of the new British premium tank, at Tier 8, the Caliban. It's a bit of an unusual tank, so we're going to have a look at the characteristics of it. It was just a design that's been turned into a game tank, but didn't get produced. What's the major characteristics? Well, basically the big derp gun, 160 mil, 180 mil. Let's have a quick look. 152.4 shell. Yeah, 152.4. So, yeah, big derp gun. Basically, it was a two-piece cartridge with the explosive part in a silk casing, so it would be easier to handle. Was the concept. And you can see it's got pretty good frontal sloped armor, and 10 degrees of gun depression, which is good, and just a very small cupola, but when you're shooting on a ridgeline, your cupola will just be visible still, so a bit of a hassle. But I guess the main issue with this tank is all the armor's on the front. So if we have a quick look at the armor for a second. So we've got 130 on the hull and 250 on the turret, but you can see the sides and the rear drop off. So 80 on the sides of the turret and 35 only on the hull side. So you really, your only real chance of bouncing shells is by keeping the front towards the enemy. The other thing is you can see there's only two shell types. So the main shell, the standard shell is HE, or considered HEP, it's called. So 750 average damage, I think that is, and 180 millimeters of penetration, which is pretty significant. But given the way HE works these days, if you don't penetrate, you won't get anywhere near that damage. So, and also look at the shell velocity at 354 meters per second. This is really an arcing shell, which does mean, you get the chance to fire it in third-person view and fire it over objects, of course, but you're not going to get a whole lot of damage out of it unless you're firing at light tanks or medium tanks in that mode. But the premium shell is 600 average damage and gets you 292 penetration. That's of course at the short range. It drops off to 270, but that's pretty competitive, and certainly for Tier 8 that's pretty substantial. And it does improve the shell velocity, but only to 500 meters per second. So experience is that you really have to carry a mix of both and expect to use the premium ammunition when you're facing frontally to enemy tanks. Now the other characteristic of this tank is it's a two-shot auto reloader, and you can see it takes 56.9 seconds to, well, this is with crew skills plus vents and putting in T, but 56.9 seconds to load, 3.75 seconds between shells. But the value of that, of course, is it's an auto reloader, so you can fire one shell at a time, and you don't have to reload the whole clip to fire again. So once you've loaded one shell, you can fire it again. So we'll see that how that plays out in battle. Now, equipment-wise, the big thing about this gun, of course, being a big caliber gun, the dispersion is 0.48, and that's after all adjustments. So we've added vents for crew skills, as well as decreasing some of those effects, as well as the load time. We've got improved aiming to try and reduce the size of the aiming circle, which definitely helps with accuracy. And of course, gun laying drive to address the aiming time, which is a pretty massive 3.59 with all adjustments. So it would have been over 4 seconds without these adjustments. So apart from that, there's not a lot to show about it. It is a 3-person crew. So name me too many British heavy tanks that have got a 3-man crew. So this is not really going to be a great crew training tank, but we're seeing a few of these sort of examples here. But it is bringing variety into the game, I guess, so that's sort of a benefit as well. And for British tank enthusiasts, this probably be a useful purchase. It is certainly in the loot boxes at the moment, but you'll be able to get it in the premium shop, I'm sure, in the new year. All right, let's go and have a look at some gameplay, and then we'll come back and give a conclusion. Okay, so you can see we're running improved aiming and the gun laying drive, and as well as vents. That's all to try and improve the gun handling. And we've got 10 standard HE shells, the HEP, and 15 premium AP shells. So that's also a tier 8, tier 7 battle, and we're at top tier. So we're going to head to the factory area and just see what sort of targets we can find, and hopefully, you know, we're at close range. The dispersion may not be too much of an issue, but I think aiming is going to be the main problem. I guess the good thing about the shells is the alpha, so the AP shells do 600 plus, and the HEP do 750. So if you can actually pen, then yeah, you can do a significant amount of damage. Alright, we did get spotted coming into here, not surprisingly. So we're going to use this mullikeep here to protect our side armour and the frontal armour if needed. And we're just waiting for tanks to come into this area. So there's a nice 2-2 there, but there must be more enemy tanks around there. There wouldn't be a single one. Here we go. So there's an IS-3. Now, I guess one of the other useful things about this is it's got an auto reloading mechanism similar to the Italian tanks, except it's only a 2-shot carrier. And of course the other issue with that is just the long reload time between the shells. Okay, here we go, got a Hellcat. Now we are loading a G, which has got nearly 300mm of pen, and that didn't go through, but the second one did, so no dramas. So possibly we hit the tracks, although that shouldn't stop AP working. It's a bit of a mystery there. Anyway, but there's also an IS-3 spotted. And now we're just on full reload because we use both shells. But the good news is, of course, you get your first shell and then you can fire that straight away. So it's not like an auto loader where you've got to load the whole cartridge. So if you can want to turn it into a one-shot tank, then yes, sure, you can just wait here. And we want that IS-3 to come across here and peek. Right, there's our second shell. But no real action yet. I guess that Super Hellcat got scared away for taking such a big hit, but we want either the IS-2-2 to come out and chase Maka and the Lanson, or the IS-3 to come out and peek against us. So a bit of a static game at the moment, and a bit hard to tell how it's going to turn out, but it's very even on hit points, and no tanks have been lost yet, and we're already 3-4 minutes into the game, so not a great game, but you can't really push in this tank. It's you know, you can keep your frontal armour pointing towards the target, but that's good because it does have pretty strong armour, of course, on the front surfaces, but once you're on the side, that's bad. Okay, here we go. Now, the IS-3 pulled back just as we tried to fire, and we try and put another one into him. And we get a full whack ammo rack there. It's 1245 damage out of one shell by doing the ammo rack, so that's pretty impressive. But there you go, side armor, and we were firing the high penetration shell, the AP shell, which is your premium one. So 293mm penetration. IS-3 wasn't going to stop that, and luckily, without much choice from us. It guided itself to the ammo rack. Anyway, at least it takes out a threat, so we're now 2-0 up. But once again, you know, can't really push in this tank, at least not at this stage of the game. You don't want to throw away your hit points. But it does look like the tanks have gone back here, and we may be able to pick up someone crossing here, maybe. Oh, okay, we take a hit from the T-80, T-28 HTC. But the good thing is, I mean, we've got to have 1550 hit points, so it's not bad for a heavy tank. Now we're going to be spotted here, proxy spotted by the IS-2-2, well, until he got disappeared. Snap towards the T-28, but that didn't penetrate. I guess we must have had too much of an angle. I'm going to push in with our one remaining shell. We might take a hit on the way, but we'll try and put in one on the side, and we get the kill. But he'd been reduced to only 351 hit points there, so didn't pick up a lot of damage from that, but nonetheless that's taken us over 2k. And now this is the BZ-44. Do we want to go after him? I think we'll get exposed if we go around, but it looks like he's coming after us now. We don't have any shells loaded yet, but we've got to make it look like we do. And we're getting shot from the back. We just already used our repair kit, so we don't want to do that. So Super Hellcat being annoying. Fire at the VZ-44, and unfortunately, just rushing the shot there, the gun handling lets us down. So he's going to come around again, but we're back on the reload. We've used both our shots again. So this again, the trap of the Caliban is just how you can manage your shells. Now the Charity is going to come after us, so we're going to run away at the highest speed we can, which is 32 kilometers per hour. And hopefully we're not going to get shot too many times. Going around here, can we shoot anyone else? Well, there's the VZ, and he puts a shot into us, takes us down to 28 hit points. Let's see if we can get him out of the game. Yes, we do. I don't think we're going to last much longer. We're just caught by the Chariot here. Alright, so that's us out of the game, and not sure how this is going to turn out, but we'll teleport to the end. Not much more to show about the tank, but we'll go back to the garage. Right, let's have a quick look at the results. We ended up with nearly 2.7k damage and 3 kills. Nothing special in the rewards, so to look at the team performance. Finished on top with damage and experience. Teams were relatively balanced on the results, but yeah, must have fallen away at the end. But anyway, that's not the point though. Okay, cost. We fired 8 shells, 7 hits and 4 penetrations. So yeah, wasted a shell or 2, and yeah, take out the consumables that you would have otherwise bought cheaper. So we might have made a small profit, but that's with standard account. Anyway, let's go back to the garage and give you the conclusions. All right, let's talk about the tank. Would you buy it? Well, personally, I wouldn't. I don't think. It's a bit of a one-trick pony in the sense of the way the gun works, and its main weakness will be the fact that it's got fairly weak side armor and the mobility. If you want to use the penetration of the HE shell, you need to get to the side of enemy tanks, and that because it is a heavy tank, the speed is really going to let you down there. You can't really close ground quickly, and maneuverability is also limited in that sense. So driving around tanks, you know, maybe tank destroyers you'll get an advantage on, but you certainly won't get around a medium tank or a light tank with that mobility. But certainly if you get in the loot boxes, yeah, I think you'd play it. I mean, it's a bit of a fun tank in that sense. It's nice to get big alpha, so it's sort of like a KV2 equivalent, I guess, at tier 8 in that context. And you know, you would overmatch, thin-skinned tanks as well in terms of side scraping, etc. So yeah, a bit of an odd tank, but in my view, yeah, probably not worth buying, but nice if you get it otherwise. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing that. We'll have more gameplay and reviews to come, so thanks for watching.